扶轮社友情。
First,
is it true?
second,
Is it fair or concern?
third,
Will it build wealth and friendships?
fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you. Please be seated. Rotarian song. May we have PP Pat to be us to sing them.
R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y is wrong on land and sea. From north to south, from east to west, the prophets long who serve the best. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary.
Thank you, PP Pat. Introduction of visiting Rotarian and honorable guests. May we have PP Air.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased to introduce today's guest and visiting Rotarians. First, I would like to introduce our AG design. 分区的助理总监design， 欢迎，谢谢。Next is today's speaker, Dr. Sam, his friend, and also Sam's wife, Tina. Welcome. Next one is our First Lady, SN's wife, Chloe. Ruth's wife, Sophia. Joyce's friend, Joanna. Joyce's friend, Andra. And the last one, she's not our guest anymore, but she has become our new member, Irene. And his husband, Kota. Thank you.
Thank you, PPA. OK， 今天有长官来访，我们请那个 AG Design 请起立。好，我们先唱一首这个 Welcome This in Rotarian Song。May we have PP Pat。
Yes, for Rotary we greet you. Oh, yes, for Rotary we greet you. We want to build our friendship rim. We are glad you are here today. So take back on the middle cheer. Regards from all the fellows here. And work once more. You are here, our Lord. Come again, Rotarian, again. Welcome.
Okay. Present time will be present.
All right. Good to see everybody here, and well, I like to say it's good to see so many Rotarian fellowship here, like Pyoho, and I think it's maybe Irene's first informal meeting, right? So, thank you, Irene. Thank you, Koda. Welcome to join us, and Well, we have a very interesting week last week. Jimmy and Tim, we joined the RC Taipei's 72nd charter anniversary, and we are going to launch a English speech contest with all the English Rotary Club next year. So it's gonna be fun. So I'm gonna report you the following up. And Inland Charter, it's the beer festival. So I like a little bit drunk maybe. So Jimmy offered me a lot of water, but not a wonderful night. And thank you CPA and all the members that we have a very good gourmet great night. And there's great news. I think I should report to everyone that is our PN Jimmy invite the CPA to be our next secretary. So we have a new secretary next year, CPA. So we give him a break today. He's not here. So for the next term, we allow him to have some more vacation this year. All right, all right. That was a great night. So thank you CPA, thank you the I think BB Juice and Shumi introduced us last great restaurant. It's just a new open restaurant with a very good music, jazz music. So invite everyone, hope everyone can have more chance to visit there. Yeah, I'm not a good singer, but we have a lot of good singers in our club. So I hope that we can have more chance to catch up and to sing together. And yes, badminton team, we have more court rent for practice, and it's gonna happen in November 14th. November 14th, just right after the U.S. president election. It's gonna be fun. All right. So that's my part. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Richard. Secretary Time. Next week will be our DGI's annual official visit. So all member is wear your 2021 necktie, or scarf and pin. And all board member please present before 10:40. And spouse. We're very welcome to join our sports program at 16 forward. Time will be 11 to 12. And badminton friendly match with Wenxing Se will be held on November 14. 大墩羽球馆在9点到12点为伍。我们需要很多的啦啦队，所以那个舍友们可以非常欢迎来参加哈。And we are going to our main program. May we have Pipi Lu give us a speaker introduction.
你若真正后礼拜要比赛吼，你是后礼拜。
Good afternoon, everyone. Our Assistant District Governor of Design, President Nelson, fellow and distinguished guests, it's my honor to introduce our speaker today. Dr. Zhong, who I call Sam, he's a attending physician at Shouchuan Memorial Hospital in the Department of Orthopedics. Whoops. So we don't have his academic background here. His expertise are in fracture trauma, orthopedic surgery, so he's usually very, very busy on Thursday. And he has clinical hour later this afternoon. So we would like to give him a big welcome later and thank him for coming today. And other than his expertise and professional background, academic backgrounds, I'm gonna share with you a little bit about his personal side. This is, I believe, his personal motto, 刀来就开. So he's young, energetic, charming, and charismatic. He and Dr. Tina just had a newborn baby. They just became parent earlier this year, and that's his son and him in the photo. And let us have a big round of applause to welcome him.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the kind introduction from Lou. I'm quite flattered. Yes, let me introduce myself. My name is鍾玉軒. Please call me Sam. And just introduced, I'm an orthopedic surgeon and I'm an orthopedic surgeon who is specialized in spine endoscope, 脊椎内视镜, and micro-invasive spine surgery, 微创脊椎的手术. This is a picture taken about a year ago in Salzburg, Austria. The man behind me, that was my mentor. I learned the spine endoscope about 3 years ago in Seoul. And he was giving me a chance to do the demonstration, and he said that was a test. And normally in our operation room, we don't look like this. It's not so handsome. It should be look like this, because we always wear a shower cap. There was one time we had several Indian doctors came to our hospital to visit us. That's my boss, because he's the boss, so he has a cap. Yes, has a dragon on it. I only have a shower cap, so that really makes me look like a worker anyway. But anyway, I'm the one who is doing the surgery. Okay. And sorry, that's my Facebook. I have so many interests. One of it is doing presentation. So I like to do a slide. I designed my own banner here. So I put lots of information about my patient, about all the tricks I want to share. So if you are interested, please follow me on Facebook. Okay. So before we really start, first I want to tell a story about myself. It's a true story. As you can see in operation room for orthopedic surgeon, we live with radiation. This machine over here is called C-arm. It shoots X-ray so that we can check the fracture is reduced or not. So we live with it. So to protect us from the radiation, we have to wear some protection. That's here, the purple one. It's a protection. It's called the lead garment or lead apron. Anyway, it protects us from radiation. It's not heavy. It's about 5 to 7 kilograms. Only. And we have to wear it like 6 to 8 hours a day. For example, I operate on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so I have to wear it like all day. So during the 5 years of my residency in Cheongong University Hospital, I had 2 very severe episodes of low back pain. Literally, I was immobilized. I could not move at all. But it's quite common. Anyone here has history of back pain before? Yes, please raise yes. I think most of us, 80% of the adults, may have low back pain at a certain point of their life. Even when you are young or you are old, it doesn't matter. It will come to you eventually. But most of the time, there's no precise pathoanatomical diagnosis. For example, it's quite common for me to see a worried mother. She brings his child to me and say she wanted an MRI or X-ray to check to see if there's any problem about his or her daughter. You just have a mild back pain or after exercise or something. Most of the time it's because of the muscle. It's the muscle, not really, not something wrong about the body. It's just a muscle. And why? Why do we have so many problems like this? Is it actually? It's because of here. Can I ask anyone here has a straight spine? Have you ever taken an X-ray before? Okay, right. Actually, none of us has a straight spine. We all have a curved spine, like this. From lateral view, that's when we take the X-ray from lateral. You can see there's a lordosis here, kyphosis here, and lordosis here. So everyone has a curved spine. But in fact, back to 10 million or maybe 1 million ago, when we were monkey, we are supposed to look like this. We walk with four foot, right? And time by time, we now can stand up. Now we become human. But at first, our spine is not like this. It's really straight and rigid. Here's a video.
Adaptation humans have made, standing upright. This one very human feature causes 2 big issues. Let's break them down. Taking a short, stiff, horizontal spine that was adapted for climbing and trying to balance our big heads over our 26 vertebrae and our feet is a tall order. Evolutionary anthropologist Bruce Latimer studies the evolution of human locomotion. He compares this task to trying to stack 26 teacups and saucers and then balance a human head on top of that. To make this configuration possible, we evolved some anatomical quirks. Latimer uses the fossil record as well as data about modern apes and modern people's spines to trace the evolution of these mechanical changes. Chimpanzees have a straight, stiff spine which supports climbing. Our spine is flexible and curvy, which...
Okay, so here's the spine from the chimpanzee. As you can see, they have a very long arm, so they can use their arm to support the weight. So it's okay for them to have a very rigid and straight spine. But for us, we need to flex, we need to bend, we have to rotate, so we have a flexible spine. So we are adapted, so we can have this kyphotic or lordotic spine like this. And from a long time ago, as you can see from chimpanzee, they have a very rigid spine. Now we have a very flexible spine because we have to put a head over it. It's weigh about 15 kilogram here, so it's just like we put a very heavy thing at the top of 26 teacups. So it has to be flexible like this to support the weight. And actually, when we were born, when we were a baby, our spine is like a C shape. So at first we cannot, as a baby, you cannot sit up. You have to lie it, right? And about 4 months, you can start to see your head up. You can rise your head a little bit. That's because of our neuromuscular structure start to develop. So now the muscle learn how to contract, so you can start to have your hand, you can have your neck extend like this. That's, my son is 5 months old now, so he's at this stage. And time by time, so maybe 3 or 4 months later, you can see the hips up to tilt a little bit. That's the X shape start to develop. But to have this kind of shape, this kind of shape, it really depends on the muscle. So that's why, that actually explains the reason why we all have back pain. The spine is surrounded by the muscle from the most deepest to the most superficial side. There are 5 layers of muscle from the medial, from the deepest side to the most superficial side. They are multi-layers, so any layer of it got some problem, you may feel back pain as well. So that actually explains the reason why we all have back pain. And has anyone heard of core muscle before? Yes, it's very popular right now. So now we are actually recognize this concept. Maybe back to 20 years ago, we don't have this concept. We don't actually know about core muscle. Core muscle is not just like a six-pack. Actually, it's not. It's just most superficial part. It's actually composed of several layers. The most important function of core muscle is to stabilize, to hold it over there, to give you a point at the center, and so that you can move around. Here's the core muscle. Traditionally, we think core muscle is composed of only the back muscle over here, the so-called multi-feeders or erectors, or the back muscle here, or the abdominis rectus, the so-called six-pack. But it's no more than just that. It's composed of diaphragm above, and the pelvic floor muscle down there. What's the most important thing is to keep the intra-abdominal pressure stable. It's like a balloon. If you have an inflated balloon, it's hard enough, right? If it's not inflated, it's really soft. You cannot control it, you cannot support it, right? So the most important thing is to keep the intra-abdominal pressure. So we have so many muscles to hold it over there. So it's like we have a balloon inside our stomach. We want to hold it tight, like this. But right now, most of the time we are sitting there and doing work, so we are destroying our core muscle now. For example, sitting over there and doing nothing. Even worse, when you are using mobile phone, you have your neck flexed, right? Neck flexed, and even worse, you have your leg crossed. Actually, crossing your leg over there, this one. Got you. Okay, crossing your leg actually causes you traction of the sciatic nerve, so you may feel some tightness, even numbness as well, so don't do that. Try to sit it upright. So just sitting there actually destroying your core muscle. It took us about 1 million years from a monkey to become a bipedalism. So that means you can walk with 2 feet rather than 4 feet. But it took us only 100 years after invention of computer. So now we are back to here. It's quite the same, right? Like our monkey and a lady smoking and holding his cell phone like this. It's really bad and even have your leg crossed. So try to stand up a little bit. For example, when I see clinics, we have 3 hours. I have to see like 40 patients. I just have to sit there and just talk. It's really unhealthy for my spine. So most of the time, I just stand up and talk to my patient. Actually, they feel quite comfortable and feel quite fancy because most of the doctors, they just sit there and just do the click the mouse and just finish the work. But most of the time, I like to touch my patient and stand up to kind of let my spine to rest. Sitting there actually causes a lot of stress on your spine, especially the lower spine, L4, 5, L5, S1. There are lots of pressure concentrated at the level, so stand up a little bit after you have a long time spine. It may be good for head. Here's a newspaper picture. It's from Washington Post about 2 years ago. It tells us why we should not sit too long. The first one is the mushy abs. That means you have a very soft abdominals because you sit there. You don't have to work. You don't have to concentrate your abdomen. So it's really soft. And you have an inflexible spine. We have to see it. So we just do like this and keep it over there maybe for 30 or 60 minutes, just doing nothing. It's really bad. And because you have sit there, actually there's a extension of your hip, so actually cause you extend your gluteus muscle here. So for muscle, it's really strange. When you try to contract your muscle, it should be at the proper length. That means if it is distracted already, you cannot contract it. It's like the rubber band, right? Rubber band. If the rubber band extended already, you ask it to contract is impossible because it is extended already. It's just like our gluteus muscle. If you extend it all the time, it cannot generate power properly. And also because we have to flex our hip here, there's a flexor muscle inside our hip. It is called psoas muscle. It actually connects our spine and our this so-called femur. So actually it's called a very tight femur here. So when you see an old lady walking on the street, they walk always like this. They cannot extend properly because all the joints are connected to each other. So there's one problem here actually causes the other joint to compensate the others. Why core muscle is so important? Let me take this astronaut for example, because about 2 years ago, 2016, NASA, they published a paper about their astronaut. They noticed 3 things. The first thing is those astronauts, after their missions from the space, they came back to the Earth. They always grow up. They don't know why, but actually they get about 2 to 3 centimeters height more before they go to the mission. The second thing is they always have back problem even after coming back to Earth. About 50% of them, they always have back problem. And they even easier to have disc herniation, about 4.3 times more than normal people. So they think it is quite strange why that happens. So they have these astronauts doing the MRI before their mission. And after the mission, they ask them to do the MRI again. They notice one thing. There's atrophy of their core muscle. Because the atrophy of the core muscle actually cannot provide how can I say, sufficient protection of your spine. So they have some back pain problem like this. That's me. Right? I like to play basketball. I think basketball is a very, how can I say, athletic exercise. You have to shoot, you have to run, you have to aerobic exercise. Sometimes you have to fight for the space. So it's kind of like a fighting with each other. You need some power as well. You need some skill and you need some power. Last century, there was one man who knows the secret of core muscle, and he became guard. Yes, that's Michael Jordan. That's Michael Jordan. At that time, we noticed one thing: he can fly in the air after jumping. He can stay in the air more than like 20% than the others. For that short period of time, he can do a lot of things, but most important because he trained his core muscle. Back to 1989, he had a group of people helping to train his body. Back to 1989, that's about 20 years ago, when we didn't have the concept of core muscle. We start to know how to do the exercise right. So they start to train him. So actually we need the core muscle to generate power. If you keep your core stable, you can use the other part to move around, to do the clutch shot, to dive around, doing things like this, right? That's Steph Curry. Steph Curry is the MVP of 2018, I guess. Yes. This kind of exercise is in gym. It's not now. More and more people start to train themselves, but rather than use those heavy objects, for example, like those dumbbell here, they use this kind of string to exercise. You don't have to do a very heavy weight, but you just have to do these rotational things, give it a little weight and do it. For NBA players, they also do this kind of exercise to train their core muscle, because it is important. This is LeBron James, his Instagram. Here's the video he uploaded after his daily training. As I say, core muscle is to stabilize. As you can see, he just hold it there. Okay, just like that. So you don't have to put a very heavy weight on yourself. You just have to hold it there. Actually, it's very tiring when you do this kind of exercise. You actually looks like just sit there, right? No, it's tiring. It's exhausting. Here's a paper from this, I believe is this July. It's a poster. It's a 34 years old woman, 67 and 80 years. So if you don't train your core muscle, it will compensate itself. The bone will accommodate your daily life. If you sit all the time, okay. When you are 80s, you will just look like this. You have very tight hips, so you cannot extend your hip anymore. So it's like fixed over there. So you need your back to flex a little bit so that you can walk. Because as we mentioned before, our head is about 50 kilograms. If the head is not in the center of gravity of our body, we may fall easily. So that's actually explains why some old ladies fall all the time and fall easily, just like this. And actually the posture is really closely related to our quality of life. If you fall down easily, how can you have a happy life, right? And Rome was not built in a day, so we have to start to train ourselves little by little. I've heard there's a saying called success is made of a lot of things done well. So it's just a lot of small things. So first we have to start to wake up our core muscle. Here is a paper talking about how we can awaken our core muscle. Actually, we adopted from babies. That's a 4 months old baby. He can just sit over there. He cannot move his head. But after 1 or 2 months, he can start to rotate. First, that's the first thing you can see. He always try to rotate to sit up. Then he use his right or left arm to support himself to sit up. Then they can use his leg to support himself. Once they can do that, they can now sit straight, because it's about 7 months is when they can have their intra-abdominal pressure stabilized with their core muscle like this. Then they start to climb. So that's exactly the path we have to follow when you have this kind of problem. Of course, this kind of professional. So you need a trainer to help you to train this. So we do have, from this paper, we have a lot of exercise just doing like this. Doing those silly movement like this is quite childish anyway. But actually doing this kind of work help you to generate the power from the core muscle, help you to awaken your core muscle. And there are 2 exercises I always tell my patients to do it, even if they have the operation done already. The first one is plank. Plank is just like this. Just hold it over there and doing nothing. Actually, it's kind of hard. When I teach my patient, they say they cannot do it at all. Try to do it by yourself at home. Try to hold it like 100 seconds. I do this most of the time. Try to support myself to train my core muscle. The other one is bridge. As I mentioned before, we sit all the time, right? When you do the bridge, actually you help you generate power from your gluteus, from your buttock here. You contract to push your power here. Actually, it's a good exercise for both men and women. It's good. Okay. More than that, if you have a personal trainer, you can do those 3 whole body exercise. The first one is chest press. Actually, when you do the chest press, you have to hold the breath, right? So actually keep the core muscle contracted. And the other 2 is deadlift and squat. I do like these 2 exercises because there's the same about our thigh. A man's thigh is like the second heart because actually it generates power. After doing this, you may feel the difference. That's what I can say. Okay, that's me. When I did have several back problems, but after exercise, now I don't suffer from back pain. Sorry. That's 100 kilograms. I do like 8 times, 5 sets, just to hold it. You can see there's one doing like just one body. So yes, in Taiwan, because we have a national health insurance, so my patient, they always think their health, their problem is doctor's problem. No, it's your own problem. They always say, oh no, the medicine you gave me last week, that didn't work at all. But I always ask them, did you change your life? Did you still sit there and just play a mobile game? They said, yeah, yes, they still do it. So it's your own problem, and please fix your own problem. Thank you. Yes.
I want to ask you a question. How to use and train your core muscle and your neck to improve your neck and forearms?
Okay. Neck. As I mentioned earlier, our spine is composed of 26 vertebrae, right? From top to the down. Actually, they all connected to each other. When we are getting old, we do have a kyphotic neck like this. So if it is a bone problem, it's really hard to train. But I would say still, training the core muscle down here actually help you have an upright posture. Once you have an upright posture, you put your head in the center of your body. Now you can have a very healthy neck here, then you won't have any neck problem anymore. That's the posture problem. So just correct the problem down here because it's in the center. Once you correct the center problem, the rest of it will just solve it by himself. Yeah.
Any other problem or challenger? Sure.
So, what posture would you recommend while we are relaxing? Like, how are we supposed to sit?
Okay. Can I get a chair to demonstrate? Yes. Can I get a chair? Thank you. Please note that when we sit there, the most comfortable posture is like this, right? Actually, it's like this. It's the most comfortable posture, but it's really bad for your spine. You always have to get a support behind your spine. Put a pillow down here to support your spine. Or even better, if you can sit straight like this, right? Sit straight like this. It's good as well. But I know it's tiring because you have to, how can I say, generate power, so it contract all the time. You may feel tight a little bit, so you want to sit down like this. Right? Anyway, it's really bad for your spine. You feel comfortable because the spine actually, how can I say, stuck with each other. They just hold it there, but it's not for your joint.
So maybe we can put a cushion?
Yes, put a pillow or cushion behind your spine. It will be just good as well. Yeah.
Do sell the very good cushion.
Yes.
A lot of times nowadays, people have very limited choice because of their job. They have to sit in front. They have to either sit all day or they have to stand all day, like the sales in the department stores. So if you have to choose between the two and you really have no choice, would something like a high chair be a good choice, or it's about pretty much the same?
Okay. From the basic, human are animal as well, so we have to move all the time. Holding one same position is actually really bad for your health as well. If you can sit, don't sit too long. If you can stand, just don't stand too long. Now we have to work like a really long time. It's okay. But now we do have this kind of a table that can just rise up, right? So you can use those kind of table to work. It actually really doesn't matter if you have a really high or low chair, because when you sit, actually it just concentrates the stress over your spine. Doesn't matter if it's a high or low chair. Yeah.
So it's not the height of the chair, it's the table?
Yeah. Just stand up.
It's all about your movement only, right?
Yeah, it's about the movement. Try to move all the time.
How long is too long?
I would say just 20 minutes. It really depends on how old you are. I mean, for my patient, if they have a fracture, I would just tell them to sit, just don't stand up. But if you are young and athletic, if you're healthy, try to stay athletic, stay energetic as well.
What other sports, in addition to what you specifically mentioned about the basketball? In addition to basketball, any other sports?
I recommend or I play? I
You recommend?
Oh, I recommend. Oh, for men, I recommend swimming. Swimming is really good for men. For women, yoga. Yes, yoga is really good. Yoga is really good.
This can really help your core muscle.
Yeah, right.
All the like you're holding the breath. That's the function.
Yes, holding the breath. Actually, holding the breath is the main purpose why we train our core muscle. When you do lots of things, you have to help it. You have to stabilize your spine. So that's the intra-abdominal muscle, the balloon I just mentioned before. That is hold the breath over here. Yeah.
Any other question? All right. When I see Dr. Sam here, I thought she gonna give us some very good way to figure out my problem. But later on, I figured out that he told me I need to fix my own problem by myself. Thank you, Dr. Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Okay. Attendance report. May we have PP data?
Thank you, Dr. Sam. Very interesting, very informative speech today. Very wonderful. Today we have 22 members and 1 visiting notarian and 7 guests. So the attendance rate base is 63%. Thank you.
Thank you, PV data. Okay. Surgeon arm report. May we have PV path.
Yeah. Okay, CPA is not here, so instead of him, today we have several donations. First, donation from AG Design, 1,000. Thank you. And from President Essen, one of the best speech this year, and for sure the most handsome speaker. Thanks, Dr. Sam, 1,000. Next is from Lu, PP Lu. Welcome abroad. Iran and Koda, many thanks to Sam and Tina, and Sam's informative speech, 1,000. Jimmy, welcome Iran. Thanks Sam for the insightful information, 1,000. Last from coming member, Iran. Thanks join Dathong, which club doing well, 10,000.
Wow. Thank you, PV Pat. Wow. Okay, what's coming next week on October 29th to CGI's annual official meeting and also HW Day. And November 5th, 由我们黄志豪律师带来基督喝什么红酒。对，如果有兴趣喝红酒的那个，可以那天欢迎大家一起参与。OK。Yeah， 还有来过。
Yeah, Leon. Last time he talked about criminal litigation, but this is the real Leon, the drinking guy. Yeah, one more time.
Is he going to join us?
Yeah, trying to persuade him to move from Taipei to Taichung, so maybe next year for Jimmy. All right, so a lot of thanks to Irene and Koda. That's a big donation. Thank you, and thank you AG. Thank you AG Design. Gave a lot of tips for the next week test from AG. So appreciate, and thank you, Dr. Sim, and I think we have a great lunch. Thank you, everyone. I adjourn the meeting.